Hi, you guys. All right. This is one of my favorite calls that we get to do every month. I think a big goal for all of us should be to have more people on this call. This is a high level leadership training that I think my Ruby self years ago would have longed to be a part of. Having a community where I had so many different high level leaders. And I'm not talking about just Jules, I'm talking about like this group right here, Rubies and above, um, like working together, learning from one another, becoming close with one another so you can form a partnership and you guys can bounce ideas off of one another and just having this connection. And so, one of my goals for the year of 2023 is for my team to see at least 10 rubies and senior rubies on our team. And so, I would love for you guys to also have some sort of goal similar to that, um, like a tangible goal, and then figure out ways to get there, and then be promoting something like this, what we do every single month, for this type of leadership growth. So today I'm really excited about this conversation, and this is going to be a roundtable discussion. We have a couple of questions that we're going to ask, but we really want this to be a really engaging conversation where we're talking about the word resilience. So my first question, unmute yourself. It is such a small group, so please don't utilize the chat unless you absolutely have to. Unmute yourself. When you hear the word resilience, what comes to mind? Not all at once now.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go. So what comes to mind is like grit, basically, like just being able to pick yourself back up when you've fallen down, and keep moving.
What came to my mind was bounce back, being able to bounce back.
I think doing the things even when you don't feel like it and when every obstacle is in your way.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't give up when it gets hard, or not quitting when it gets hard, doing the things that aren't always fun.
Joanna, will you go to the next slide? So the definition of resilience is the act of resilient, leaping, or springing back, the act of rebounding. So knowing what the actual definition is, and everything that you guys said here is exactly right. Think about a time in your history with Flexus, in your business, that you have had to be resilient. So take a second and think on that. When has there been a time when you've had to step it up, when you've had to make that choice of not giving up, when you've had to be tough, when you've had to rebound? Think about that. And everybody, I want you to spend like 30 to 60 seconds just kind of telling us, maybe more than 30 seconds, telling us a time in your business when you had to be resilient.
Mine was when my husband told me I would never be successful at this. And so I mean, that made me feel horrible. Like I cried for like days, but maybe not days. And then what I did is I decided to prove him wrong and that I was going to be successful. And I went and watched so many Diamond Docs because that is what fueled me to know that if they could do it, so could I. And now he's like my number one fan and supporter. I mean, he didn't become my number one fan and supporter once I hit Diamond. Like once he saw that I was serious about it, and then he was super supportive, but that was a really hard time.
Mine is so easy because I'm like currently in that. Well, kind of, it's been forever. So last February, I ranked Ruby, creating a senior silver, and all these silvers, like added so many of these girls to my team who wanted the business. And literally like the month to 3 months after, they all quit. So like my Ruby team quit. And so during the summer, I had developed 2 golds. So 2 new girls came to the business. One of those golds quit. So since then, it's just been like, I've really been honing in on recruiting girls who want the business, not just like want to dabble in it, like they're all in. And so we've been just a re-ranking, or like almost re-ranking Ruby team ever since the summer my golds quit. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And every single one of us have a story like that, or will have a story like that. That doesn't mean anything or say anything about you and your leadership. So I want to make sure that you know that, Jordan, you are an incredible leader, and every single one of us have a story or multiple stories like that. What are some other times that you guys can think about in your business where you've had to choose to be resilient?
I can share. I feel like I had to be resilient, like when rebuilding, kind of like what Jordan Gibson said. I went senior gold really quick, and I created 2 golds, actually 3 golds, and then they all quit like within the same month. And I kind of thought, I'm done with this. I'll just stay at senior gold and be super happy. But now I have built a new team of all these beautiful ladies in this car, and it's been super fun. And now we're senior ruby.
I freaking love that. I love that. Good job, women, being in that van/car going to your retreat. That's amazing. Okay, one more example. Okay, I'm going to share. Oh, go ahead, Lacey. Go ahead.
And say I can share. So a couple of things come to my mind. When I hit Emerald, I had a couple biz builders that quit, and they were like, one was a fast start gold, I think. The other one was gold. And I think that those just hit me harder because they were closer friends of mine. And like, I see them all the time. Our kids are the same ages. And so that one took me a long time to get over, just because I'm like, why don't they see it? But they just didn't see the vision. And I think the other time would be when my son passed away. Like, it would have been really easy to, well, I did step back for a little bit, but not like, I mean, I was still present on social media but not really, I wasn't doing any of the other, like, wasn't reaching out and, all of our other IPA stuff. So it would have been really easy for me to just stop. But I think the worker in me and I really enjoy what we do. So I think it in a way, it was almost easy for me to come back, because that got me not thinking about what was happening. And then I could just do what made me happy, which was working.
Carrie, I know that you have had to choose resilience. When I think about you, I just think resilient. I mean, and that's your team name, basically, right? Do you want to speak a little bit onto your story?
Sure, I can do that. Well, the first thought when you asked that question about difficult times was, it took me a year to go gold. And I did it with the help of a friend who didn't really come to me for the business. She came to me for the products, and then she just started adding and adding and adding people. And so I went gold, and then I went senior gold in April of 2020. And then just like that, she quit. Like, after 3 months, just quit cold turkey, stopped talking to me. It was just really an awkward situation, to be honest, until finally one day she said, I mean, like, this was a girl who was ready to go to Hawaii and get the Lexus, and then just said, I like my job. I don't really want to quit. I was like, I didn't ask you to quit your job, but now you've got this team of people that you're quitting on. Like, to me, that's what really hit home when people quit all of a sudden like that, is like, you've got people that came to you and trusted you. And yes, I could take them under my wing, and I did try to, but they don't know me. So anyway, it was kind of one of those things where it was so sudden, and I had lost one of my jobs due to COVID, and the other one due to unforeseen circumstances. And so I went from having, basically 3 part-time jobs, if you include Plexus, to just Plexus. And so I thought, I have to make this work. Like, this is all on me. And I look back, and that is probably the hardest I have ever worked my business, was during that time of rebuilding, going from having, one pretty incredible leader or business builder to no one for months and months and months. And I'd love to say that I've worked it that hard every day since, but I haven't. And that's ridiculous to say, right? So, because obviously it worked. Like, I was able to continue re-ranking senior gold on my own with no one working the business. So
But how easy would it have been for you to just go into victim mode? She quit, I'm done, versus like she quit, but there's so much more room for growth here, and I'm not near close done yet. I have not helped everybody that I'm supposed to help yet. And I know that even though she quit, it's okay. Like, just knowing that is so important in what we do.
And I'm curious, Carrie, what made you want to grow when it was so hard and like you lost your business builder? Like, what was the drive that like made you do those hard things?
I told Emily from day one that I had no back door. She asked me point blank, and I said, no, there's no back door. I was tired of working multiple part-time jobs. I had 4 kids. I had to make it work. And I knew that it was possible because I had watched Emily and other people at that time.
And she asked to see my pay stub. So I think that probably built a little bit of belief too. But another part of her story that I really like, that I'm sure a lot of you guys can resonate with, is she had a power partner, a sideline sister, who was doing really well in her business. And her, at one point, they were at similar points. And then that power partner kept moving up, and Carrie kept moving down and down. But now things are reversed. And if she would have given up because of that looking side to side and her business builder quitting, like she would not be here. And so I'm super grateful for her story, for Jordan, for Lacey, for Lindsay, for everybody sharing your story. So let's go to the next video, or the next slide, Joanna. So I really love this quote. Jim Rohn, he says, the more obstacles you face and overcome, the more times you falter and get back on track. The more difficulties you struggle with and conquer, the more resiliency you will naturally develop. There's nothing that can hold you back if you are resilient. And so when I hear the word resilient, on a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of importance for our business and in terms of importance for our leadership, resilience is a number 10. Truly, like you know, with this business, it is highs and lows and ups and downs because you're working with people. You are learning and you're growing. And so if you want to have that success, you have to have that vision, you have to have that belief, and you have to have that resilience. So when those hard times come, you're learning from them, you're not giving up. You're learning, you're not being a victim. Because what's going to happen is those lessons that you have learned, you can then in turn turn them around and share them with your team when you have a team that starts to jump on board and they start to catch the vision and they start to go through those hard things. So the next slide actually shows that, which I really, really love. Go ahead to the next one. So this picture here you're going to see, and I don't know if Jordan wants to speak to this. Are you at a place, Jordan, where you're able to?
Yeah, I can. Well, I was actually speaking with one of Chandler's level ones. Her name's Amy. She's awesome. And she was like having a hard time in her business because her runner had quit. And she was like, I'm taking it personally. I'm doing this. And it had to have been a God thing because I don't even know where this thread was, but it's an old, my very first level 1 thread. And none of those girls are still active, you guys. Not one. And all of them were either senior silver or gold at one point. So when I saw that, I was super encouraged because we have a ruby thread now. Like, we didn't have that back then. And so anyway, it's just encouraging knowing that you're never done. Not one person does not dictate the rest of your Plexus career.
And when you look at that list, that's not just one person that quit. Like, that's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I mean, that's like at least 12 people right there that said they were going to go do the business. When she was starting the business, she was excited about it, and all of them quit over time. So that is encouraging that she still has been able to move forward, growing and developing new leaders because of that resilience. If you look at these pictures here at the very bottom, that 2018 was my first convention that anybody from my team had gone to. My very first convention ever I went to was 2017. I went by myself as a silver. And then the second year I went back, 2018, I was a senior ruby, and I had 6 girls with me. Only one of those girls is still doing the business. That's Hannah. Then you go to the next year, 2019, I felt on top of the world because we had like 20 some girls 25 girls had come saying that they were fully committed, they were doing this. When I look at that picture from 2019, only 2 of those girls are still standing. But you know who those 2 people are? My jewels. You have Hannah and you have Cara Carrington. They stuck with it. They had that resiliency. Then you go to 2022 and we had over 50 women come and show up, and they are all still doing the business. That is a picture of resiliency. And I promise next year, this 2023, we're going to take another picture and it's going to be bigger, and there are going to be people from 2022 that aren't doing the business, but that's part of it. That's the importance of resiliency, sticking with it, and not just like, I mean, think about it like with our products. Like, you know that if the products are going to work, we tell our customers they have to be consistent. They have to have that resiliency and keep going when they're not seeing all the results that they want immediately. That's the same thing here with this business. Okay, go ahead, Joanna.
Okay, I love this cycle. It's showing basically like where our thoughts are, like failure cycle. Jordan, you can totally pipe in anytime you want. They're out house hunting, which is so fun. But okay, so if you are in this place of like what you focus on expands, your thoughts create your feelings create your actions or lack of actions. And so just really, I get just being very aware of like what you're choosing to think of. We all have thoughts pop in our head that are like dumb. But we get to choose if we want to dwell on those or if we want to choose a thought that is ultimately going to help us to hit the goals that we want and to move forward. Because when you're in that like negative thought cycle, it's just like this revolving door. Like there's no good that comes from it. And then you get in this place of like inaction or not doing the right actions, versus the resilient cycle of like, yeah, okay, this happened. It sucks. Feel the feelings. Like that's important. I like to go take a walk or something, like feel the feelings, like, validate that, like this hurt really bad, or this was a big like bummer. And then like it says, like, what did I learn? How can I do it better next time? Try something different, tweak a piece of it. I mean, on it, like so much of this business, you're doing the right things that just, you need to tweak it just a teeny bit. And so just that mindset of like, okay, like what can I do next? Because when you are like choosing those thoughts of like those forward thinking thoughts, that having the vision in your thoughts, it is going to give you the feelings of like excitement, motivation, the feelings that are going to spur on those right actions, versus if you're in like that negative mindset, that's going to cause feelings of like frustration, defeat. And like when I'm in that place, like I just want to watch a movie, eat ice cream, like take a day off from my business, versus like, okay, like how can I do it better next time? What can I tweak? And then getting into action. Jordan, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes, I was going to earlier, and I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. Oh, I remember. And you don't have to tell us, y'all, but if you are looking at this and you're like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm not confident in what I'm doing. I am feeling a little frustrated. I am feeling a little defeated. If you are feeling those things, my encouragement to you is to re-enter. Do you see the very, very last part of that? The very, very last one, and it says re-enter. And we re-enter, I guarantee you, if you go do something scary, it will give you the feeling of remembering that you are good at what you do and you are capable of more than you thought you're capable of. Because what I see so often is people are like, I'm not good enough. I can't lead that call. Nobody wants to join my team. But you're not re-entering and you're getting that step. And so if you have a teammate that is in that space, encourage them to go do something scary. But if it's you go do something scary and then let us know how that goes. And I guarantee you kind of cracks open that like egg, that hard shell that you put around yourself to like protect yourself from failing. Okay. It just cracks it open. You're like, okay, that was not that bad. I know I need to go do more scary things. So anyway, that is my homework for you guys, is to go do something scary.
I love that. And I had a similar example, or kind of that goes along these lines. Yesterday, I had a teammate that or someone on my team who had something really hard happen in their business. And so an exercise that I had her do was, okay, I want you to give me a name of someone on your team that you have helped, that you know, like because of you, your boldness, you helping them, like you changed their life. Like, give me a name. Like, I was very specific. And then she gave me a name. And then she's like, and now like more people are coming to mind. I was like, yes, it's like, write them out, like write out how you help them. And so that was putting into her in this like way better mindset. And so even just those little things of like, or for yourself, like leading yourself, of like thinking back to those times that you did succeed, those big wins that you had, those are little wins, big wins, all the wins. Think back of like that you did that, and like you are capable and you do have what it takes. And there's only one of you, like you, because it's so easy to compare ourselves. I'm not as good of a leader as this girl or whatever, but there's only one of you, and only you have what you have to offer that nobody else does. And just remembering that and how capable you really are.
I would love for all of you, if you are at a place where you can write, I would love all of you to write these 5 points down, because this is something that when John Maxwell came and spoke to us at convention a few years ago, maybe Leaders Retreat, because he's done both. But I remember him telling us this cycle, and it's very similar to this resilience cycle, but I'm going to have you guys write these 5 points down. So this, the cycle of success is what he calls it, and it's got 5 phases. Phase 1 is you test it. So test. Second is fail. Third is learn. Fourth is improve. And then, like Jordan was saying, the 5th is to re-enter, try again. So that is the cycle of success. So I want you guys to look at that, and I want you guys to be reflective. Are you in this cycle where you are testing and you understand, like, I'm going to try something and it's not going to be perfect, and I'm going to be okay with that because I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to improve it, and then I'm going to try again. That is resiliency. And so I want you guys, type this out, write this out, put it on your computer, put it on your mirror, because this is a normal part of business. This is a normal part of life. This is a normal part of finding success, is that failing forward motion. That does not mean that you are failing. That means that you're learning and you are failing forward as you are growing. So let's go to the next slide. So in reference to being reflective, like taking that list of the cycle of 5, being reflective, and you guys can unmute yourself or you guys can think about it and put it in the chat. But I'd really love for you guys to be reflective, and I'd like for you to ask yourself this question. I'm not finding and growing new leaders because blank. And if this is a little too close to home and you don't feel comfortable putting it in the chat, that's fine. But if you feel bold and brave and you want to unmute yourself, go ahead. But I think it's important to acknowledge what these fears are that are holding us back, why we are avoiding doing the things that we know will grow our business. I'm not finding and growing new leaders because. Anybody have any thoughts on that or want to fill in the blank?
Can I just share a couple of examples that we talked about, and then y'all, because so I remember doing something like this before, and somebody was like, because it's hard, because it takes too much time, because I don't know anybody else, my funnel is dry. Like, there's so many different things that are actually lies. Those are all lies, by the way. So if you have something like that, we would love to hear from you guys. Like, what comes to mind?
I could share. This is actually something I've been working through a lot lately. And so what I've been saying to myself is I'm not finding and growing new leaders because I haven't found the right people yet. And so that's what I've been focusing on rather than all of the other things, because I was in that space for a while and I just found that it was not serving me. And I do have belief that new leaders will come to my team and I can pour into them soon, but I was honestly going through a lot of my own mindset junk. And so I think that was a lot of the reason why I was not attracting the people that I was looking for. And I was going through that very same like frustration cycle. And so anyway, I've changed my tone and I feel a lot more excited about my business now. And I think I'm showing up in a way that's going to attract the people that I'm looking for. So that's my piece.
I'll share. If I think about it really hard and just super honest, I probably got into a place where I just stopped asking. Like, I feel like during that time period of my rebuilding, I would talk to anybody, ask anyone, share with anybody about the business specifically. And I kind of got to a place in the last, 6 months, not that I wasn't doing things, but I just wasn't being as bold. And I would look at a name and think, oh, I can't talk to them, and whereas me 2.5, 3 years ago would have been like, okay, let's talk. So when you don't ask, you'll never know.
I appreciate Brittany's comment in the chat. I think there's a lot of attachment and worth that we find in our points or our paycheck. And if they're going up, we feel confident. If they're going down, then we feel not confident. So, and all of these responses that are all so good, and so many of them, like Jordan said, are affiliated with fear. And so I think that's why we wanted to ask this question for you to be reflective, because when you actually sit and think, why am I not doing this? Then you verbally process what is going on and holding you back. And then you can see, okay, that's not true though. I do know how to lead people because I know how to do this. I know it's a simple system. I'm sharing on social media. I'm inviting people. I've got these different resources. You know how to do it because you've done it yourself. So get out of your head and start getting into action. That's what it is. Start learning, start leaning into the areas that maybe you don't feel confident in. And instead of just sitting and avoiding and having this analysis paralysis, get into action and prove to yourself that you can do this. Because just like Carrie said, if you're not asking, it's always going to be a no. If you're not learning, you're not going to grow. And so if this is what you want, step up your resiliency. Start learning, start getting into activity, eliminate as best as you can your worth association with your points or your paycheck. Get into having fun again, and that's going to come by you getting into activity. That's going to come from you serving other people. Your fulfillment should be coming from that and from the Lord versus your paycheck or your pay points or what your achieved rank is at the time, your paid rank is at the time. Eliminate that stuff because this is the long run game. We are here for the long run. That's what resiliency is. We learn, we work, we grow, that whole cycle of success. And exactly right, Joanna. You guys are rubies. You guys are the foundation of our businesses. You are the foundation of Plexus. You are such a strong leader, even if you have that doubt in your mind. So go prove to yourself that you can do it because we all see that you can. So get into activity and start doing it. Joanna, you want to go ahead?
Okay, so this is all great, the mindset stuff, all that, but it's what can we do, tangible, simple things to actually go and grow new leaders? There's this quote at the bottom that says, I don't know if you guys can see it because my thing's in the way, but it says, show me your habits daily, your agenda, your calendar, and I'll be able to tell you if you're going to be successful. That's a huge thing. It's just being in action because you never know where that leader is going to come from. I have a brand new leader that I never even knew until a month ago. And it's because I knew a friend and I helped her host an event and we connected that way. And this friend doesn't want to do the business, but this girl that I signed up because of hosting this event. And I only hosted that event because I was following up, and I finally signed this person after months of follow up. She said she wanted to do an event, did an event. No one signed up except for the last day of the month, this one person. And she went under me because this other person decided, okay, I don't want to do this. And now she's earning her second iPad today. She's going for Fast Start Gold. And I never would have known where she was coming from, but it's you get into action and you do the things and you fill up your calendar and then things happen and it's super, super fun. So just a few ideas of I know a lot of you are doing like the 50-person challenge from Christina Williams. That's on YouTube if you're not sure what that is. So that's such a great way to like be in action and to be doing the things that are going to attract or bring business builders. Doing like sharing boldly about the business on social media in your stories. When you get paid, like we have been getting fun bonuses with like or if you, even if you haven't, you can still be sharing. I remember sharing super boldly about the business, just like, I mean, as a brand new person all the way. And so you don't have to like have that paycheck reflecting. If you feel in that place of like, oh, my paycheck's going down, like, how can I share? Like, you're Ruby, you have a good enough, you have a paycheck that can like, you can cover groceries, you can like cover all your gas. Like those are huge, huge deals. So like being bold about the business. Another thing, just like lots of three-way chats, taprooting, hosting events for your team, doing your own personal IPA. Just really, those are just, I don't know if you all want to add in anything of like things that you can go like doing on the daily that are going to bring new leaders. Something too that I like keep in the forefront of my mind recently, because I've been developing a decent amount of new silvers that are just really excited. 80% of your results are going to come from your top 20%. And so being intentional with your time of like, am I spending my time in the right places with the right people? And so like my new business builders are some of my like top people that I'm going to, like answering messages, helping, being available for them, because they're in action, they're doing the things, they want this, they're growing, and they're giving like, they're a big bulk of those results. And so yeah, Jordan, Emily, anything to add to that?
Well, Kara's not able to be on today, but Kara Carrington is my level 1 Emerald. And one thing that she said that she's been doing that I think is brilliant, she said, when I am reflective and I look at the people on my team who are doing the business, she said, almost all of them have been happy customers. So what she is doing is she is kind of adjusting the way that she's been operating her business, and she's really focusing on customer care. She's really, really stepping it up a notch, and that's not something that just happened overnight. She had to be intentional. She had to learn and grow, and she had to have people, you know, say they didn't want to, you know, be a part of her customer thread or whatever. But she had to really she's really learning how to pour into her customers. And so she's got like a customer thread that she's doing different incentives, and just she's trying all sorts of things as she's looking to grow her new leaders. And that again has come from resilience and come from reflection, which I think are super important. Jordan said she didn't have anything, and I know we are running 4 minutes over. So let's go ahead and end with this quote. I really love this one again. Jim Rohn. He said, resolve says, I will. But the man says, I will climb this mountain. They told me it's too high, too far, too steep, too rocky, and too difficult. But it's my mountain, and I will climb it. You will soon see me waving from the top or dead on the side from trying. And that is resilience. And that actually, like, I had to hold back tears, because just like Joanna was saying with her sweet white bear Miller saying, no, you can't do this. She said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to prove to you I can do this. When we've all had family and friends and people be ugly and mean, go prove them wrong. Go prove them wrong by your resilience. Try real hard, just like this says, like, this is my mountain and I'm going to climb it. I'm either going to be at the top waving to you fools, or I'm going to die trying, but I am going to climb it. And that is resilience. And that is so very important for you and your business. So we hope that this is encouraging and inspiring. If you've been sitting, get up, start moving, stop making excuses, and go try and go work and be resilient, and have that 5 cycle of success in the back of your mind. Learn, improve, and try again. Thank you guys for being on. We'll get this uploaded to YouTube so we can share it with other people that weren't able to be on. Chandler and team, you guys have an amazing retreat. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.